We're here with Derrell Peel, our livestock marketing specialist. And Derrell, let's kind of start with just an overall look at how the cattle markets are right now and whether they're following seasonal patterns at this time.
Yeah, so far this year, I think our general expectation for the year is that cattle markets will be in kind of a sideways pattern. So no real trend up or down. And when that happens, we would expect to see the seasonal patterns follow pretty closely. And we're seeing that right now. If you look at the lightweight calves or stocker cattle, they've been trending up since January. We're probably close to a seasonal peak here in late March, early April. The bigger feeder cattle, 7 and 8 weight kind of cattle, actually have a seasonal low, and we've seen that as well. We've seen those prices for those 8 weight steers weaken a little bit here. For fed cattle, again, we normally see a seasonal peak towards the end of the first quarter, and we've been struggling a little bit to get up to that. In fact, given the weather problems we've had, I think a lot of people are a little frustrated that we haven't seen more seasonal strength, but it's there. So we're mostly following that seasonal pattern at this point.
Let's look at the weather a little bit more. Winter has really dug in some areas and hung on. How is the weather impacting the markets?
It's sort of two issues here. One is the weather having enough impact broadly to impact market prices and so on. And I think, we're seeing a little of that in the fed cattle market again, and certainly probably in the box beef market. We've had some difficulty getting cattle out of wheat pasture. It's been muddy and sloppy. And I think that's the real issue for cattle producers, both out in the country as well as in feedlots. There's a lot of management issues here, whether or not it translates into overall market impacts. These wet, sloppy conditions, we're calving now. A lot of spring calving cows calving right now, and these are very challenging conditions to get baby calves on the ground.
Now, the USDA recently released the final trade data for 2018. How would you summarize the cattle and beef trade data for last year?
It took a while to get this. We've had some delays,
Right.
but we finally got it. And we had a very good year. Trade was very beneficial for cattle markets last year. Exports overall were up over 10%. And imports were steady, just fractionally higher. So the net effect there was a very positive move to, again, absorb this increasing supplies that we've seen over the last couple of years. But overall, we've seen good strength, good growth in our markets to Japan, South Korea, Mexico, all major markets for us, and they were all up last year.
And what's your take on the first quarter of 2019 so far?
Well, again, we're still waiting for data. We're still playing catch up. We've got a little bit more to catch up with the trade data, but it looks like we've continued pretty well. Again, there's certainly some concerns about potential trade disruptions, but from a cattle standpoint, we haven't seen a lot of that yet. So at this point in time, it looks pretty positive.
Okay, thanks a lot, Derrell. We'll see you again soon.
You bet.